Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series of quadratic programming problem. In last few lecture we have seen what is quadratic programming problem. Then we have seen what are the KKT conditions for the given QPP, and the KKT condition is sufficient if Q in the objective function is positive semi-definite matrix. Okay. Now let us discuss the same thing with an example. So suppose we have this as an example, this problem. Okay, this is my objective function which is of order 2, of degree 2, and all the constraints are linear. Hence this problem is quadratic programming problem. Okay, because the involved function is quadratic and all the constraints are linear. Okay, now what is Q here? If you will see, we can write quadratic programming as X transpose QX plus C transpose X. So X transpose is X1 X2. Okay, and then we are having Q matrix is 1 minus 1 minus 1 and 2 here. Then X is X1 X2. Then CT is minus 6 minus 8 X1 X2. This we have discussed in QPP also, how we can get Q. Okay, so this is the Q. Now we will check is it a positive semi-definite or not. For that we will find its principal minor of order 1, which is 1. Okay, and principal minor of order 2 is 2 into minus 2 minus plus 1. Okay, determinant of this matrix, that is 2 minus 1, which is 1, which is greater than 0. D1 is also greater than 0. Both the minors are greater than 0. Hence this Q is positive semi-definite matrix. Positive definite matrix, and hence the function is convex function. So this is what conclusion we are having. This is a convex programming problem. So KKT conditions which we obtain become sufficient. So what are the KKT conditions for this problem? So to write KKT condition, we will see it by all the 4 conditions, how we can write all the 4 conditions of KKT. So to write KKT condition, either we apply these conditions directly, which we have discussed in KKT condition for QPP lecture, or either we can define Lagrange function. Lagrange function is F plus KKT multiplier U for the first constraint equation. Okay, that is G1, this is G2, this is G3. Then Lagrange multiplier V1 for G2 plus V2 for G3. Okay, so my F is x1 square plus 2x2 square minus 2x1 x2 minus 6x1 minus 8x2. Then KKT multiply U into your first constraint equation, minus 13. Okay, then V1 into minus x1 plus V2 minus x2. Okay, so that is our Lagrange multiplier. Now next is we will differentiate Lagrange with respect to first variable. So it will be 2x1, this will become 0, minus 2x2 minus 6, next term is 0, this will become 2u, x2 will become 0, minus 13 will become 0, then it will be minus v1, this term is again 0, which we put equals to 0. And next is differentiate with respect to x2, If you differentiate this Lagrange function with respect to x2, you will get 4x2 minus 2x1 minus 8 minus u minus v2 is equals to 0. Okay. So these are the two conditions. Now similarly, from this you can see that we have to convert inequality constraint in equation form by using slack variable, that is 2x1 minus x2 plus s is equals to 13. That's our first equation, second equation, third equation. Okay, then all variables should be greater than 0. That means x1 x2 greater than 0, u1 u v1 and v2 should be greater than 0, and last is u1 s u into s is equals to 0, v1 into x1 is equals to 0, v2 into x2 is equals to 0. So these are the KKT conditions for the given problem. Okay. Now if you remember, this is feasible condition, this is non-negative condition, and this is also non-negative condition. One more condition, u into s is equals to 0. Okay, so these are non-linear conditions and these are our linear conditions. So now we can readily see that these KKT conditions, except these, are linear. Okay, so these are the KKT conditions for the given problem. We have seen that in these conditions are non-linear, except that all other are linear conditions. Okay, so how to solve this problem? So let's see. First, accept this conditions, the constraints are linear, and this us v1 x1 equals to v2 x2 is equals to 0, this condition make this problem non-linear. Now how to apply simplex algorithm? We first find the objective function, and you need variables such that you have an corresponding to which we have a identity in our first step. Okay, so we have v1, so coefficient of v1 in trial problem is -1 0 0. We have v2 corresponding to that coefficients are 0 -1 0. It is in standard form, but it's not having identity corresponding to these variables. But s1 we have 0 0 1. Okay, so first how we will introduce identity, then how can we formulate objective function. So what we will do, we add a artificial variable. This we have seen in two-phase method also, simplex method, why we are adding artificial variable and how we will solve that particular problem. So same thing we are doing over here. We will add two artificial variable corresponding to these constraints, because we don't have identity corresponding to these constraints, so we deliberately introduce two more variable. Okay, those variables are our artificial variable. So now if we will see these equations again, 2x1 minus 2x2 plus 2u minus v1 plus artificial variable 0 a2 s1 is 0 is equals to 0 6. Okay, similarly second equation is minus 2x1 plus 4x2 minus u minus v2 plus 0 a1 plus 1 a2 plus 0s is equals to 8. And similarly 2x1 minus x2 plus 0 a1 plus 0 a2 plus 1s is equals to 30. Okay, so if you will see, corresponding to these three variables we have now identity matrix. Okay, and these three equations are now having identity, but this is not our problem. We have changed the problem by adding artificial variables, by introducing them in our problem. So to be concentric, our objective function, we are letting a1 and a2 also non-negative. Okay, so all the variable x1, x2 are greater than 0, u, v1, v2 are greater than 0. Okay, a1, a2, s all are greater than 0, all variables are greater than 0. Now we want these variables, two variables must leave the basic, because must leave means both become 0, and if both become 0, then only we get back to our original problem. So our problem is without a1 and a2. So we will obtain without a1 and a2 only when a1 and a2 both are 0. So we construct our objective function like that. So only we construct the objective function like maximize z equals to minus a1 minus a2. Why this? Because you know that a1 a2 both are non-negative, so it will be maximum only when both are 0. So it will be maximum only when both are 0, and as soon as both are 0, we get back to our original problem. What we need, basically we need our point x1 and x2 which will satisfy all our constraints, all these conditions. That will be global minimize our problem, and that will be optimal solution of this problem. And solving this problem is not easy. So this is one of the illustration of simplex algorithm. Over here we will use it. We have seen earlier also how we can solve artificial variable problem by using two-phase method. So basically now we are going to apply two-phase method. So if a1 a2 are not 0, that means our problem is infeasible. Our problem has no solution because a1 a2 are not becoming 0. That means we are not getting back to our original problem. No solution is there. So now we have objective function as a linear, and these constraints apply over here to solve simplex problem. Now how we can solve it, we will see by forming simplex table. Before that, these three conditions will always be there, that u into s, v1 into x1 equals to v2 into x2, all three are equals to 0. These things we have to keep in mind, these three conditions. Okay, so now how to construct the table? Since these three are identity matrix in first table, so they will act as my basic variables, and all other variables are 0 at this level. So that's why if you will keep all other variables 0, a1 value is 6, a2 value is 8, and s value is 13 from these three equations. Okay, now you find what are the coefficient in objective function. For a1 it is -1, a2 it's -1, for s it's 0. Similarly here we will write these variables coefficient in our objective function. This is our objective function. x1 is 0, x2 is 0, u is 0, v1 is 0, v2 is 0, a1 is -1, a2 is -1, and s is 0. Okay, now find the z. If you will find z, z is cb into xb. So it is 6 minus 6 plus minus 8. So z is minus 14. Okay, which is not equals to 0. So in two phase we have seen that z should be, we will see the optimal condition. First we will fill all these rows also. So by using first constraint equation, x1 value is 2, x2 value of coefficient is -2, u coefficient is 2, v1 coefficient is -1, v2 coefficient is 0, a1 coefficient is 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, similarly from second equation we will write -2, 4, -1, 0, -1, 0, 1, 0. This is identity matrix, we know that, and here it's 2 and -1, all other variables are 0 in third constraint. So that's our simplex table. Okay, now z is negative. So what we concluded from that, if you will see the conditions which we used to find optimal in phase 1 is, if x is less than equals to 0, so this solution is not, these solutions are not feasible solution. Okay, even we have seen that a1 and a2 are having some values 6 and 8, they have coefficient -1, so they are having some value, so that means this is not our feasible solution. Okay, so now we will find out delta j's. So delta j is -2 plus 2, it will become 0. Then -2 into -1 is +2, -4, it will become 2 -2. Okay, similarly -1 into +2 is -2, +1, it will become -1. This row is 0 for all of the calculation, so -1 into -1 is +1, 0 0, so it is 1. Again for this it's 1, -1 into 1 is -1, then minus cj is -1 will become +1, so this will be 0, again this will be 0, and this whole terms are 0, and this is also 0, so these are 0. Okay, now we will either enter over here, either we will enter x2 or we will enter u. If you enter x2, now what additional thing is here besides simplex algorithm? So you see, you have extra condition, u into s is equals to 0. From this we are seeing v1 x1 is equals to 0 and v2 x2 is equals to 0. So these are 3 extra conditions other than simplex algorithm which we have to consider all the time. That means both the variable u and s, or v1 or x1 or v2 or x2, be not there simultaneously, okay, as a basic variable. So what does that means? Here it is most negative, so it is entering, x2 is entering. The complementary of x2 is what? Complementary of x2 is v2, and v2 is not given in basic in the first table. v2 is not there, so v2 is not there in the basics. This means v2 is at the level of 0, so v2 is 0. So if we enter x2, so v2 and x2 will still satisfy because v2 is 0, even if x2 will have some value, but v2 is 0, so that means this condition will still satisfy. So we can enter this variable x2 and to check leaving by minimum ratio. So this is our entering variable, so xj is x2, so xb divided by x2 is, this will become negative. So as we have seen in two phase, negative we will ignore. Okay, 8 by 4 is 2, then 13 by -1 is again negative, we will ignore that. So what is minimum ratio over here? Minimum ratio is 2 itself, minimum positive ratio. Okay, so the corresponding to this table, which one is leaving basic? A2 is our leaving basic. Okay, now what is pivot element? Pivot element is our 4 is our pivot element at the junction of incoming and outgoing variable. Okay, so 4 is our pivot element, this is incoming variable, this is outgoing variable. So basically pivot element we will make it 1. Okay, so in our simplex table, x2 is outgoing variable and x2 is incoming variable, a2 is outgoing, and 4 is pivot element. So we will now form new simplex table by making pivot element 1. Okay, x2 is incoming variable now. Okay, so it will come in place of a2. Now its coefficient and objective function of a1 is -1, x2 is 0, for s it's 0. Now for these value we will apply row operations. So new pivot row will become r1 r2 dash is r2 old, means your old r pivot row divided by 4, because we want to make pivot element as 1. So this row will become now as 2 minus half 1, this will become -1 by 4, this will become 0, -1 by 4, this is 0, 1 by 4 and 0. Now r1, new r1 is equals to old r1, and basically we have to make pivot column element as 0. So this will be 0 if we multiply this with 2 and add it. So 2 into r2 dash. So new row will become 10, 1, 0, 3 by 2, -1, minus half, 1, half and 0. Similarly r3, new r3 is old r3 plus this is -1, so simply add into new pivot row. So the column element will become 0, and same operation apply to whole row. So it is 15, this is 3 by 2, this is -1 by 4, 0, -1 by 4, 0, 1 by 4 and 1. Okay, so this is now new simplex table. What is z? Z is -10. Again our z is less than 0, so this is not our feasible solution, and even artificial variable is there. Okay, so now we will see the delta j's. Delta j value is multiply -1 into this whole row, all other are 0. Okay, so it is -1, 0, -3 by 2, -1, minus half. In this, when you are multiplying -1, then cj value is there, cj value is -1, so it will become 0. Here it will become half, and this will become 0. Okay, this is positive, sorry. So this is our delta j's. Now what are the negative values? These are our negative. Out of this is minimum, but why we will not select u as incoming variable? Because we have one more condition, that us is equals to 0, v1 x1 is equals to 0, and v2 x2 is equals to 0. These three conditions should always be satisfied. Now if you enter u, what is the complementary of u? us equals to 0. Complementary means u into s equals to 0 if and only if both, out of both, one is 0. So if s1 is basic solution, so if u will also become a basic variable, then it will have some value and both will not be 0, so this multiple is not 0. So one of them is already in basic, so we can't enter the other variable, that is we can't enter u. So now the next is x1. So enter this variable, x1 is our entering variable in this. Okay, what is the complementary of x1? x1 complementary is v1. If you will see, x1 complementary is v1, and it is not there in basic variable. Okay, because v1 is not in the basic, so v1 is 0, and v1 is 0, then x1 into v1, this condition is satisfied, so we will enter x1. Okay, now corresponding to this we will find minimum ratio. xj is x1, so it is 10, 2 divided by half minus is, it will be negative. Okay, so 15 divided by 3 by 2 is also 10. Now which one is incoming variable, again outgoing variable? So So you now leave any one of them because minimum ratio value is same. So you can leave any one. It is better to leave artificial variable. Okay, so you leave artificial variable. So this is outgoing variable and this is incoming variable. And what is the pivot element? One is our pivot element. So we can leave any one of them, but it's always better to remove a1 artificial variable because that is our final motive, to disappear all the artificial variable from your optimal basics. Okay, so in our simplex table, a1 is outgoing variable, x1 is incoming variable, and 1 is pivot element. So we will form new simplex table by using these three things. x1 is incoming variable, its coefficient and objective function is 0, x2 coefficient is 0, s coefficient is 0. All other elements are updated based on pivot element. So new pivot row is equals to old one because its element is 1 itself. Pivot element is 1, so it will remain same. 10, 1, 0, 3 by 2, minus 1, minus half, 1, half, and 0. Similarly, another pivot row element, column element, we have to make it 0. So to make it 0, we have formed new row, which is old row plus half r1, new r1. Okay, so new elements will be 7, this will be 0, this is 1, this is half, minus half. You can calculate it by this operation, all the elements. Okay, now next row is again you will obtain by old row minus 3 by 2 r1 dash, because we have to make this element as 0. So this is 0, this will become 0, this is 0, then it will be 0. Here it is 3 by 2, this is half, this is minus 3 by 2, this is minus half, and this is 1. Okay, now if you will check new objective function, it is 0. So since z is 0 and no artificial variables are there, so which means that is our optimal solution. So optimal solution is x1 equals to 10 and x2 equals to 7. Okay, you can check what are the values of other values are s1 equals to 0, u1 u is 0, v1 is 0, and even v2 is 0. Now put them and check all these conditions. If you put x1 equals to 10 and x2 equals to 7, so this is 0, this is 0, 20 minus 14 is 6, 20 minus 14 will give you 6, which is equals to 6. Okay, similarly here it is minus 20 plus 28, this is 0, and this equals to 8. Now here it is 20 minus 7. Okay, 20 minus 7 is, this is 0, 30, and these conditions are even satisfied. And also u is 0, s is 0, so multiple of 2 is 0, v1 is 0, x1 is 10, multiple of that is also 0, v2 is 0, x2 is 7, that is also. So all the conditions are satisfied. Okay, all non-negative conditions are satisfied, all these points satisfy all the constraints, hence solved our QPP. So we have to apply simplex algorithm with additional conditions, with these additional conditions. Okay, that if we enter our variable, its complement must not be in the variable basic. That is the only condition we have to take care of. If the condition holds, enter the variable, leave by the minimum ratio rule, complete table and apply till you obtain the optimal solution. Okay, so this is all for Wolfe's method, and you can solve the problem by using this Wolfe's method. Any QPP can be solved. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. Thank you.